So we hopped on literally just to connect, and we started a conversation. And what did you share?
Oh, goodness.
A lot, but we had a real quick connection that we quickly got to.
Connection. So I shared an opportunity of something that I had coming up, that I was seeking out partnership, because I think that's what we started talking about, relationships and finding that relationship that feels well. So I was looking for a co-host for a retreat that I hold annually called Heal, Grow, Love, Repeat. And I'm hosting it in Morocco this year. So I mentioned this to Yetta. And turns out Yetta is a Moroccan.
Oh, Robin's behind the camera and he's like, take the bracelets off, Yetta. Because I started running around the house and I was like, girl, I got bracelets from Morocco. I got an Arabic tattoo.
Showing me art and photo books and
I brought them today. This is the Shala. It's in Morocco.
Yeah.
She had no idea who she contacted.
Look at the Moroccan cup, okay? So this woman, first of all, I have a Moroccan aunt. So Morocco is like close to my heart and family. Then I got an opportunity to visit Morocco. That was a really life-changing experience. It just plain old was. I could not soften the impression that it left on me. I tried. Mom, like, it was just a good trip. That's why you felt like your life changed. No, something happened to me in the desert that cleansed and reset and replenished me in a way that I just have not had access to before visiting that space and that land. So it was life-changing. So it's a special connection to this place.
And that's what you shared. And I said, girl, no, I'm going to tell you what a special connection it is.
Yes.
Because it changed my life. And you didn't know. And we just talked.
Zero idea. Just imagine.
And then you also didn't know until today when you came to you sat down in the stool, and this was before we started filming, and you were asking about, have you talked about Morocco on the show? And for the listeners, we just did an episode where I talked about the man in the Medina. If you all remember, if you haven't listened to that episode, go back. And literally, I told the story of meeting a man in Medina who had no eyes. And literally, as I was offering a gift to him, literally clasped my hands and said, not only thank you, but he kept saying, I see you. And so for our listeners in that episode, that moment for me was, and it lives with me to this day, and my mantra when I look at people, I still see and hear that man saying, I see you. And so my quiet mantra when I'm in line, when I'm driving my car, when I'm doing anything, is I say silently to myself while I look at people, I see you. I see you. And so this movement and this meaning of being in Morocco and what you just said about the desert, that's one aspect of my experience there. But you're right. There's something magical about the land, the desert, the people. And it's really important for our listeners. Yes, you can do the work here. You can live here. You can be at home. You can be in your car. You can come to the studios. You can work with people like us. But when you take yourself into an environment like Morocco to heal, literally we could all just sit there in silence for a week and the healing will happen. That's how powerful Morocco was for me.
For sure.
And you said the same thing. And I just said, well, I had no idea. Wait a minute. I've been, and you didn't know this, I've been secretly saying I'd love to take people back to Morocco, because when I went, I was doing a lot of consulting work and a lot of teaching at the university. And I've had this for, no joke, you guys, this has been like a secret in my heart I hadn't shared with anybody. And when you said you were doing this and you were looking for somebody, I just was quietly going, I see you, please ask me, I see you, please ask.
Really? That is so bizarre.
And then she says, would you like to co-host the retreat? And I'm like, well, I don't know. Let me think about it. Of course. The answer was yes.
I love that. You know why I love that? It's because something we were talking about earlier about the way energy transcends time. You know what I mean? You had been to Morocco way before I had ever landed on the land, right? And people had been telling me, you need to connect with Yetta for probably, 2 years. Within the Richmond community, do you know Yetta? Have you met with Yetta? No, I haven't, but I'm looking forward to meeting her. So there was always this pull and this attraction, and then for us in something that touched our soul in such a meaningful way, to have that same impression on both of us is like just way too serendipitous to just pretend.
Yeah. So the answer, if you're wondering, the answer I gave was yes. Yes, I would love to do this with you. So we've decided that we're going to work together and take a group of people to Morocco. And the title of the retreat, the Heal, Grow, Love, Repeat.
Yes,
is
HGLR.
Yes, is the theme. And so I'm curious if we could just take a couple of minutes. Why those 4 words? What was the meaning and the thought process for you around picking those 4 words? Because you already had that in place as your retreat. Yeah. So what does heal mean for you?
Wow. So let's just kind of recap over why I chose those 4 words in general. I think it plays into a lot of kind of why I do the work that I do also, which is I started off doing a lot of physical stuff, alignment, like really close in the physical therapy world, yoga, fitness, helping people try to build muscle development. And I did this and I did it and I did it. I kept trying to make it easy for people and accessible. And I was just like, why is this not sticking to women the way I want it to stick? I'm making it as easy and accessible as possible. And it just wasn't sticking. And then something I started to notice, a trend, a consistency, was the lack of connection with self. So it just was very physical obsessed, but not really acknowledging the space about the mind and the actual embracing of self-love and to fuel and motivate. So you nurturing your physical body becomes a natural organic extension of you showing love and devotion to self. So when I was like, wow, when I work on that mind piece, the body piece comes effortlessly.
Yeah.
So then I started studying how can I help people with the mind piece, the holdbacks,
if only you knew someone who wrote a book about
it. Right. So that became a journey, and that became me seeking out trainings and learning more about that stillness and meditation and habit formation. So that, and understanding the formula that I learned from that process, then once I started to apply that, the results of everyone I work with, it just like was exponential. It was so effortless. People were just like, I've been working on this for 8 years and all of a sudden I'm seeing these results. Like how, why? So I kind of use the formula of what I learned from developing as a health and wellness practitioner. And I wanted people to have a concentrated version of that in a retreat, somewhere where they can pull away from the distractions, because that is something I've always had to account for in day-to-day life working with clients. But in a retreat setting, you get to
the
have a deep marination of this, whatever you want. So I'm like, if I can have my clients marinate in something, what would it be?
Yeah. Morocco.
It would be
Morocco's energy. Absolutely.
And what would I want to pour on them? What would be the ingredients to the marination? And it would be healing. It would be growth. It would be love, self and outward, and then show them how to continue.
Yeah.
And that's where the repeat comes in.
I love that. I love the repeat.